Water, everywhere but not a drop in your sink. For years now, that has been the painful reality for some people across South Africa. It is a crisis with multiple causes, and climate change is making things worse. But the water shortage is mainly due to the disastrous effects of human actions. I'll be diving deeper into that with a water resource specialist in a moment. But first, let's go to Johannesburg, where the city and the Water Authority have shut down the water supply to upgrade the infrastructure. Privilege Mushaniri reports on how this is affecting everyday life for residents.
Clean water is a must-have for Octavia Williams. She's a mother of 7 children and her youngest is a newborn, so hygiene in the home has to be thorough. She needs to breastfeed her newest arrival, but her water tap has been dry for days. She has to wash herself with precious reserves stored in a container before her baby can suckle. She says it is a struggle to keep everything clean.
It's very difficult as a mother, not having water in your household, especially with us women, where each household has 7 small kids. As me as well, I have 7 kids. My last born is 1 month old. So we have to have water for the children to bath. The child needs formula, how to rinse the bottles, clean the bottles. A small baby like this needs to be bathed every day. You can't skip a day without bathing a baby like us.
Anyone whose reserves are exhausted has to turn to the water trucks mobilized by the authorities. But during the major shutdown, they can only provide partial relief. It's a scramble for residents to access the limited water trucks deployed across the affected neighborhoods. Tempers are fray as everyone rushes to fill up. There is widespread frustration directed at Johannesburg Water. Many are struggling to fill their containers. The utility admits delays in replenishing supplies. For some, this is the only truck of the day.
We're all unhappy because now the water go off. I know there's trouble, but now we get nowhere water. And we get old people here, babies, sick people, and this is not, I don't think it's fair.
No, it's not real. It's unfair. What is the government doing for us?
This is unbearable, and this is not even coming on now. It's been months and months and months, because every time our water goes off, and no one can tell us why our water is going off.
Though slated as a brief shutdown of the water treatment plants, some areas won't be seeing normal supplies for days yet. Aging infrastructure has been blamed for the current water challenges. Officials say it is necessary to shut down plants like this one to carry out upgrades for the system to keep on running. Across the affected areas, people are asking if the effect of water taps running dry is clear for those who are responsible. Residents only have a limited capacity to store their reserves when the water trucks do make deliveries. What's here will not last long.
As a family, the water situation is affecting us badly on a daily basis because we can't do our washing, we can't bath, we can't do the normal household chores without having water. And
people here need water and they want answers. We asked the authorities, but they refused to be interviewed. Johannesburg residents like Octavia Williams have only one hope: the promise that the system upgrades underway may just improve her water supply in the future.
Joining me now is Professor Anya du Plessis from the University of South Africa. She is a water resource management specialist. Hello, thanks for joining us. So, Rand Water says a maintenance project and people are going days without tap water. What exactly is the problem being fixed and how bad is it?
Well, at this point in time, the problem that Rand Water is trying to fix is they're basically replacing valves and then including more pipelines between some of their booster stations. At this point in time, a large part of Johannesburg is only covered by one booster station. So it's called the Eikenhof booster station. If that station fails or if there is a power outage, then large parts of Joburg sits without water. So they are trying to address that issue.
People have been complaining about water issues for years. It's even a scarce resource in some areas. Why has this been going on for so long?
Unfortunately, lack of political will, mismanagement, poor water governance, and basically just the lack of skills or the lack of knowledge that's been transferred over the years. But the primary issue that we have been sitting with is misappropriation of funds and then the complete lack of political will to try and address these issues. Us here in the metropolitan areas, we have it a little bit easier, if you can call it that. In the rural areas and the smaller towns, they're already sitting with major water shortages, which are weeks on end, and not just a couple of days like here in Johannesburg.
How can South Africa better handle its water problems, especially, talking about some of the issues you mentioned, including the aspect of climate change, which is going to even make shortages worse?
Well, we will have to start appointing people with the appropriate knowledge and skills in the right areas. Most of our municipalities are dysfunctional. Over 150 of them are close to collapse. 43 have already collapsed. So there is a major issue with local municipalities which are responsible for the governance of wastewater treatment works, water infrastructure, etc. So if us in the country and obviously the government, if they can appoint people that have the necessary skills as well as the necessary knowledge, we can try and alleviate the water stress that we're currently experiencing and try to avoid an overall crisis where we're sitting with majorly polluted water resources that can't be used, and then also water infrastructure that has officially then collapsed, meaning that no taps will come or no water will come out of our taps.
Let me get a quick response on this aspect. Some places are much better at recycling rainwater and wastewater. And I mean, in South Africa, rainwater, it's been raining quite a while, hasn't it? Does that have a future in terms of recycling rainwater and wastewater in South Africa and across Africa?
In terms of rainwater harvesting, yes, that is a very good solution, but that's mostly implemented in our rural areas where water infrastructure is either absent or it has collapsed already. So rainwater harvesting is fine in terms of subsistence farming and then also washing of clothing, but not for drinking water. There are some health concerns when it gets to rainwater harvesting, especially due to the bacteria that can grow in the water when they are stored in the tanks for a long period of time. In terms of other solutions, you've mentioned water reuse. Some metropolitan areas are already doing that. However, it can obviously be improved upon. And we should also look at desalination. South Africa has a very long coastline, with the ocean being an untapped resource. I know they're also looking at boreholes, especially within our rural areas once again. But once again, the issue will be who is going to maintain that infrastructure that they're going to try and put there, and will the water be of a suitable quality for us to avoid future water-related illnesses such as cholera.
Right. Anya du Plessis, Water Resource Management Specialist, thank you very much for your time.